On today's Go, we're breaking a sweat. Welcome to Go's first show of 2016. I'm your host, Vanessa Ybarra. And with it being the new year, chances are you're going to be doing a few more of these in the next few months. On today's show, we're here at Whistler Core, where we're going to introduce you to some neat programs they offer and also some workouts you can do to make sure you're in tip-top shape for the mountain this year. On today's show, we'll also introduce you to the founder of Squamish's first men's mentorship program and also introduce you to one of Whistler's top snowboard graphics artists. But first, let's switch to the topic of the backcountry. With this year one of the best for snowfall here in Whistler, the temptation has never been higher to explore the backcountry. Well, we recently headed to Escape Route to find out the top tools to get before you head out. I'm here with Larry Falcon, who's the store manager here at Escape Route in Whistler. And Larry, yeah, great powder we've gotten, no denying it this winter. And obviously, yeah, people have the urge to get out into the backcountry. But let's talk about some main things they must take with them you really want to stress. Starting with sometimes called the beacon, but now called transceiver.
That is correct, Vanessa. We're very fortunate this year that we've had tremendous snow. It's great. Everyone's eager to get out and chow down on some powder. But before you go beyond the boundaries, it's really important that you carry some really essential products to ensure your safety and the safety of the people you're traveling with. So one of the things right out of the gate that's really important is a transceiver. Now, this particular one is from Peeps. The idea of the transceiver is that everyone in your party wears it, generally on your chest. And when you go out beyond the boundary, you turn it on into send mode, so that if you are caught in a slide, you do happen to be buried, you've got the ability of your friends to find your location quickly, easily. That's the beauty of the transceivers nowadays. They're much simpler to use, and it just zeroes in so that they can then use the other aspects of your toolbox, so to speak, to help get you out.
Totally, it's nice to have that peace of mind. So you turn on and then you don't have to think about when the avalanche hopefully doesn't come, but
that's right.
Yeah, so they can find you. But let's talk about the next part. Obviously a lot happens very quickly. It's pivotal obviously to carry a shovel.
Yes, yeah, there's a couple of real key components. We talked about the transceiver briefly. Beyond that, a shovel and a probe are very important. When avalanches occur, a lot of people think that the snow is nice and soft and it's something that's very easy to dig out, but unfortunately that's far from the case. Okay. The snow really consolidates down. It's almost like cement, and so it's really important to carry a shovel. In this case, we've got a G3, and that shovel has a cutting edge on it, so it's really easy to dig through the snow. Very important. It allows you to extend the handle out very quickly, so you've got something to dig fast with.
Totally.
But before you dig with a shovel, the transceiver allows you to locate the burial, but a probe, which snaps together into a long, narrow pole, gives you 240, 320 centimeter lengths, and you probe down through the snow, right, based on the transceivers locating you, to verify where exactly you are, and then you mark that if it's a multiple burial, right, and then you move on quickly to the next, while your buddies use their shovels to dig you out.
And it's as simple as, but you just have to feel, obviously a poke is what you're looking for. You want to locate your friend.
Yeah, as you push the probe down through the snow, it will come against, hopefully, your person that you're searching for, and you'll feel that, and then you know, okay, this is where we need to start digging.
Okay, and the next thing you're saying, it's more new on the market, an Avi bag.
Yes, these are fantastic in the way of helping you survive an avalanche even more. So everyone goes out into the backcountry, Vanessa, they have a bag. They put their shovel, their probes, transceiver on the body, of course, extra gloves, things like that, food, water that go into your bag. But now they've got avalanche bags, and the beauty of the avalanche bags is that they have inflatable bags inside, so that if you're caught in an avalanche, you pull that trigger, it releases the bag, which becomes a big balloon, so to speak, and it allows you to stay up on top of the surface of the slide.
Yeah.
and the success rate is 97% with these, so it's a really nice way to ensure your safety.
Yeah, for sure. Larry, obviously it's essential to have the main tools, but what's the main thing you want people to consider first and foremost before they go out in the backcountry?
Well, number one, of course, is you never want to go out in the backcountry alone. It's one of the biggest mistakes we see. People follow tracks, they get lost, and that's a complete no-no. So anytime you go beyond the boundary, you'll want to make sure you always have someone with you who can watch your back.
Totally.
On top of that, of course, it's really important education. There's a variety of ways that you can go about learning more about safe travel in the backcountry. Whistler Blackcomb provides some tremendous free training courses that they do on hill, as well there's the AST courses, which is the Avalanche Skills Training courses, and they're Avalanche Skills Training 1 and 2. And these are courses that give you a lot more information, education to make your travel time safer and more enjoyable.
There's no excuse not to be prepared, so.
Very much,
Yeah.
yeah. And all I can say is you're spending money on skis, boots, and bindings to get out there. Spend money on the necessities, the essentials that'll ensure you have a great, safe time.
Okay, well, thanks for joining me, Larry.
You're very welcome, Vanessa. Really happy to have you in the escape route.
What's really cool also, if you're interested in taking part in backcountry adventures, if you go to Avalanche Canada's website, avalanche.ca, they have up-to-date conditions for the backcountry all throughout BC, so check that out as well. All right, well, I'm here with Bob, who is the owner of Whistler Core. Thanks for having us in your gym, first of all.
My pleasure.
Very busy
Yeah.
this time of year, New Year's.
New Year's resolution, it's that time of year for sure.
Totally. So we're here inside the training room you're mentioning. Tell us about some programs you offer, first of all, in this room. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of different stuff, powerlifting, Olympic lifting that goes on in here, but definitely probably one of our more popular programs right now is called Mountain Fit.
Okay.
And it's a strength training program, and it's a high intensity workout type of program. And people that come into it, it's usually geared towards what activity they're training for, whether it's what sport they're training for. It's obviously a great just all-around workout as well.
So what would be your piece of advice for people wanting to get more fit in 2016? It's always a common resolution, but maybe through your experience, what would you offer them for advice?
Well, set some goals. Be accountable, get goals that you can write down, tell a friend, hire a personal trainer, go to a class, somewhere where you're accountable.
Right.
And make the goals that are realistic, allow enough time to reach those goals. And there's a variety of things that you can do to make those goals achievable.
Sure. Okay, well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And coming up after the break, we're also going to talk to a trainer here about some cool, unique also exercises you can do to get in shape. But first, let's head on up to Whistler Mountain for part 3 of our Learn to Ski series. Well, I'm a quarter of the way to becoming a skier. And besides almost taking out Andrew's finger,
Whoa, gentle.
and my arm's killing me after the first lesson, I'd say I'm doing pretty good so far. The big question being, can I handle 2 skis? Well, let's find out.
Some people have never seen snow before, so they've never slid.
Well, at least I've seen snow, so how hard can 2 skis be?
All right, Vanessa, we're gonna push ourselves over this way. So planting the poles, giving a little push.
And push. Oh, I'll be feeling this tomorrow.
Yeah, you will.
I may be doing some weird crisscross pole action, but hey, at least my skis are still on solid ground. Next, it's time to learn the most crucial part.
The biggest fear, I guess it's learning how to manage the acceleration that you start to feel as you slide. If you get going faster than you're comfortable with, at this stage of the game, use your pizza, will slow you down.
So apparently in the world of skiing, a stop is referred to as a pizza. I had to ask. Where on earth does that come from, eh?
What's the shape of a pizza?
Okay.
Come on.
Now that that's clearly sorted, Andrew has me go through a series of exercises practicing that pizza position. From there, it's on to sidestepping,
It's nice how light the skis are.
and then attempting my first hill.
I'm just giving myself a little push and just going for a little slide.
Let's just say things got off to a slippery start.
There you go. You're good. You're good.
However, after quick composure, it was smooth, albeit slow sailing for this girl.
There you go. Look at me, Mom, I'm skiing. It's very quick to get going fast, and you can suddenly find yourself in the trees, so this sets you up for success. Biggest misconception, how little effort it's going to take. Yes, it's downhill skiing. Yes, you're using gravity, but there is a fair bit of work that gets done by your body just in balancing and standing in that athletic position.
And with that,
I'd like to spend a little bit more time here, going a little faster maybe,
Okay.
a little more thrilling.
it's finally time to attempt the level 3 hill. Aside from initially flailing my pulls around like a madwoman, before you know it, I got the hang of things.
Honestly, I've never felt a cooler sensation than gliding down that mountain. I think I may have just been bitten by the skiing bug.
Most people are thrilled. It's such a neat experience to feel the excitement and the acceleration. In Never Ever Land here, to be able to teach people this, it's pretty exciting to see their faces. They're learning and they're feeling what you felt today.
That was awesome.
High five,
That feels
one.
amazing.
On the next Learn to Ski Series Part 4, Vanessa faces the dreaded chairlift and practices those emergency stops sooner than she thought.
Coming up, breaking the stigma of men's mental health.
There are services in this community that are there for a reason.
Find out how this man is using his story to ignite change.
Welcome back from the break. Well, we're here on a Go this week talking about resolutions, being of the new year. Many of you likely have vowed to be more in shape. So we're here today at Whistler Core, joined by Andy right now, who's a personal trainer. Hi. You're going to show us a few workouts you're saying with kettlebells to get in top shape for the mountain.
This is an exercise I've invented myself. It's called the Andy Special.
Andy Special, what else?
So it's just 2 exercises put together, very straightforward. So you get 2 kettlebells, okay? These bells are about 10 kilos. And all I'm going to do, full range of push-up, step my feet forward. 1, 2, put all my weight on the heels. Lift my bum, squeeze my hamstrings, and hinge lift up. Then hinge it down, step back, and that's 1, okay? Just like that, nice and easy. Step it forward, weight on my heels again, pull it up, and then put it back down, okay?
And if
Vanessa?
people are doing this at home, they want to do about 4 sets, you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
4 sets.
All right, let's try this here. It's like you can feel every body group moving.
Perfect. Bring it up, weight on the heels, pull it up. Nice.
All right. Only 30 more to go, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Easy.
All right, well, while I continue doing this, let's throw to our third story of the day. We head all the way down to Squamish, where we spoke to the founder of the city's first men's mentorship program. All right, let's try this one here. I'm joined today by Zach McHugh, who has started up a Change of Pace, Squamish's first men's mentorship program here in town. First of all, Zach, thanks for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about your own personal story to start. What inspired you to start this program?
You know, I struggled a lot most of my life. I come from a pretty mixed family where, you know, my father was addicted to drugs, and then my mother's second husband was an alcoholic. And so every man in my young life exposed me to some form of relationship with drugs and alcohol, sexual abuse, physical or emotional abuse. And so a lot of my life I struggled with my own self-image, and which eventually led to my own unhealthy relationship with my own women and sexuality and drugs and alcohol, and of course anger and aggression. So a lot of my life I felt like I struggled to love who I was, or didn't like who I was, and which eventually led to a long road of addiction. I injured my back when I was 24 years old and got highly addicted to prescription painkillers. And I don't know, it came to a point in my life where I was emotionally and spiritually bankrupt. You know, like I didn't want to really live anymore. I didn't know how to understand how to have some sort of success in this life. And so, but it was at the end of my road, I came into contact with a male mentor who changed my life. You know, he came into my life just when I needed him. I never let men into my life because I didn't trust them. And then at that point where I started to want to change my life, I came into contact with somebody who I saw the potential of my being. right? And so by exposing myself to this man and wanting to spend time with him, I asked him for an internship, or I needed to want to figure out how to teach what he was teaching, right? And so I spent about a year with him doing athlete and coaching development, and really doing a lot of self-development. That's what a lot of it was about. It wasn't about weightlifting at all. It was about developing this person. And so coming to the other side of that, where I started developing a healthier relationship with my body, a healthier relationship with my nutrition, a healthier relationship with the aesthetics of my body, where I now have a body that has function rather than I need to fit my personal image into what my culture or my reality tells me I need to look like in order for me to find self-comfort. And so learning these relationships, I understood that this isn't just for me, and it's not just for men who could afford this sort of mentorship. So working in these communities, I've been teaching CrossFit for about 7 years, and then I specialize in Olympic weightlifting, and then I also teach yoga and meditation.
It, eh?
Well, it's tools, right? So it's like these are all the tools that have helped me on my path to recovery or my path to success, and I feel as though exposing to the men of our community to those tools will have a huge success in their life.
And why do you feel that men still struggle? You know, we see so much on social media talk about being authentic. You think we've come so far in some ways, being open and honest, but why does the average man still struggle like you did until someone helped you to be open?
I don't know if it's trust. I don't know if it's mental illness. I don't know. It could be a variety of things that are keeping us from accepting support from our community. And it's community too. What is the community as a man that you're currently exposing yourself to? Who is your male community? Are your male communities exposing you to things that are giving you a healthier outlook in life? Or is your male community like, let's go get beers and chase chicks? You know what I mean? Like that becomes the MO for our male community, and it's not like we're sitting around hashing out the real problems that we're facing or the real things that we're going through. It stays really surface, right? And there's this stigma in men that we feel that if we're accepting support from our community or seeing a counselor or getting help for the millions of things that we've been through or the experiences that we shouldn't have had to go through, then we're crazy or we're, you know what I mean, or that we're, I don't know, not okay. But instead we'll just white knuckle it through life, or like, no, I got this. No, I got this, rather than understanding there are services in this community that are there for a reason, and there's people in this community who want to make that effort to make sure that you have the tools to have a better life. I feel like your circumstance isn't a good enough reason for you to have failure, and I feel like understanding that everyone has an experience and having a circumstance, and their first relationship with accepting help hasn't been in that experience. And so it's giving people a healthier relationship with accepting your help from your community, not as like, oh, I'm in trouble and I need it. It's like, no, like we all need support. We all need community.
The support is out there for the community. I think men have to realize it's out there. I just need to put myself out there. Because unfortunately, Statistics Canada was showing, Canadian Journal actually, that men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide. So it's really helping those men. So let's, on that note, talk about the new mentorship program here in Squamish. What are services you're offering people can take part in 3 times a week?
Right. So currently I'm working out of Rebel Fitness or House Sound CrossFit. We're looking for a physical location so that we can run programming all day long. But as of now, we're working on the physical practices. I've reached out to about 15 or 20 men in our community, and we're taking a market sample of men from all walks of life and then running them through the program with hopes of finding investors or finding funding for this program once we can see that the work has validity. So we've been meeting for the last month and meeting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 4:30 to to 5:30, and right now I'm just offering physical mentorship as well as gearing towards working into the wellness aspect, right? Like there's ways of measuring our progression, whether it's physical progression through our physical strengths, our mobility, and then measuring our wellness progression, right? So it's figuring out a survey on the wellness spectrum where we're coming in and finding out what our baseline is for our physical, finding out what our baseline is for our wellness, and then working from there, testing and retesting. So we're going through the programming for 3 months, and as we're starting to develop relationships and rapport and a better understanding of the services that would best fit each of these individual men, we'll be able to guide them in directions to finding the community resources that might best fit where they're at in their life or best fit their adversity, right?
And each program is, like you said, individual, because I think, like you were mentioning before, but these men that are coming, they're not always who you always think need help in a community.
Absolutely.
These could be, successful men on the outside who have 9-to-5 jobs, white picket fence,
100%.
right?
Well, all of our struggles are different. One person's might be drug and addiction, one might be body image, one might be relationships, one might be intimacy. And so it's figuring out where our baseline is or where we're lying on the spectrum, and then giving them the tools in order to find a better form of themselves, right? Find a healthier relationship with this stuff and understand that maybe the way that I've been doing it isn't the most efficient way to do it, and we'll give better tools such as yoga and meditation and cooking classes, like developing a better relationship with food and understanding like I can cook inexpensive meals that are healthy for me and my family without having to spend a lot of money or without having to serve packaged preserved meals, because a lot of the access that we're getting to food is food bank or helping hands, and a lot of that is through donation, which means it's preserved, right? We canned foods, boxed foods, those sorts of things, where it's teaching people how to develop a healthier relationship with their nutrition.
Totally. And the main thing, ask for help, right?
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing to
100%.
ask for help.
Well, it's just developing a healthier stigma with accepting help from your community, rather than because I'm accepting help, I'm crazy, or because I'm accepting help, I'm in trouble, rather than no matter where you're at in this world, developing a support system for will only help the future of your life, because naturally we're gonna go through ups and downs in life. There is the reality of death, there is the reality of relationships, there is the reality of a million different things that affect us, and if we're all by ourselves when those things happen, those catastrophes tend to tear us apart, rather than understanding if something like this happens, I know where I can go. I know who I can talk to. And it allows you to kind of get outside yourself and start to develop a physical practice, because I feel like we as men, we hold so much our tension in our bodies, and to start to use our bodies to relieve some of that stress, it's life-changing.
Yeah, and life-changing for you. You're now Olympic weightlifting coach and everything,
100%.
so you've opened up some great conversations, so thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, and just a reminder, if you'd like to take part in Zach's mentorship program at Rebel Fitness, it happens 3 times a week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 4:30 until 5:30. All right, so we've done the Andy's special. This is a special number 2 workout we're going to do here, Andy?
Yeah, I can't claim this exercise, unfortunately. So it's just a very straightforward, it's a squat, and the second movement is a push press. So it's a kettlebell squat with a push press. And once again, we're going to be using predominantly the front, we're using our anterior chain. We're going to work our quads, our core with that breath and that holding that breath, and then the push press is up here like that. Okay, so we'll break it down into 2 movements, all right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take the bell, we're going to bottoms up, okay, and pop it on your chest, all right? And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a squat, so suck the breath in, into the core, all the way down, all the way up. That's the squat part. And then the second part is the push press. Soften the knees, explode up, okay? Again, so nice deep breath in, and up, push press, and if you want to break it down, make it 1 move, easy enough.
Okay. Now, some people might think, as I did initially, your breath kind of scared me almost there. It's so extreme. What's the purpose of doing that? Just such intense breathing?
It's an explosive movement. You want to let that breath out. You have to breathe, okay? It's kind of like when you're in the Olympics and they make all that noise. It's sort of part of it.
It's not for show.
No, it's not for show. It's actually, it gets the movement in there. And that deep breath, you don't breathe until you finish moving.
Okay, here goes nothing.
That's it. Come up, hold it, and let the breath out, and soften the knees and push press. There you go, good. Again for me, please. Same thing. Weight on these heels, stick your bum out. Good, and up. Now push press. Nice work, solid.
That feels awesome
solid.
from the hips. Yeah,
Good,
that's
good,
awesome.
Good.
Well, thank you. Well, while I continue to do this and hopefully not faint, let's throw to our last story of the day here. While it's important to be fit for on the mountain, it's also important the graphics on your snowboard and skis are also unique. Well, it turns out there's one company here in Whistler who's also using their own unique method to create their line of work.
On a sunny Bluebird day, this silhouette of skiers and snowboarders cruising down Whistler Mountain is a sight to see. Once they reach the bottom, that's when things get really bright. From glitzy jewels and blurred mosaics to evil wild boars, today's ski and snowboard graphics are all about making a statement. This gargoyle alone is proof no design is too complicated or extreme for board makers. Just ask Pryor's Matt Dussault.
It's endless. If you've been out on the hills in the last few years, you'll notice that very vibrant, bright colors, which in the 70s and 80s, that was the look. So it's cool to see a lot of the styles just come full circle.
And here at Pryor Snowboards and Skis is where the magic happens.
Justin's laying up a board right now. He's taking the base material, covering it with epoxy.
As a custom ski and snowboard shop, the company has been turning to local artists to design its bold graphics for over 25 years.
You get a lot of talent that surges through Whistler, whether they be from the UK or Australia or Germany, wherever. It's just really important to put the artist's talent on a pedestal.
To reach out to those artists, Pryor's been hosting a top sheet competition for the past 4 years.
This was just a new, fresh way to generate a buzz early season.
The shop asking locals to submit their best piece of work, then
we put the finalists in the hands of the public. They vote on their favorite pieces.
With a top artist then getting to have their designs laminated and permanently featured in Pryor's regular line of skis and snowboards.
This is a piece that was submitted last year as Raf Suter, another local artist. This piece here is a Vanessa Stark piece. It was a winner from last year's Top Sheet contest. We're actually working on building a replica downstairs.
This year, 65 artists of all types entered the Sea to Sky competition.
I think that's the one thing that really stands out to me about the contest is really wide array of selections and ideas. It's cool to see.
For snowboarder Vanessa Stark, what's also cool is being named one of the top artists once again this year.
So the piece that I did, it's a bear and it's on top of a topographical map. It kind of speaks of the connection with nature and animals and the land. There is such a connection between art and skiing and snowboarding. People want to ski on things that reflect their personality because it's an expression of yourself. So,
with this year's winning designs expected to be in these racks by the end of next summer, for Matt and the rest of his team, being able to give artists another outlet to get noticed is what it's all about.
That's what's always really important to us. We have winners or previous entries that are getting commissioned pieces and just getting some traction in the art industry, and I like to think a lot of it is because of the contest. And people are always looking for new graphics.
Pryor Snowboards and Skis offers free tours of their factory if you want to check out all the action. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 and Saturdays at 5. Well, that wraps up our show coming to you from Whistler Core. Tell us, what are your resolutions to get in tip-top shape this year? You can reach out to us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, email us all of your story ideas you have for fitness or anything else along those lines. The email is sea2sky@sjrb.ca. And hey, speaking of rock climbing, be sure to stay tuned to our next show where we introduce you to one of Canada's best. That's it for our show today. We leave you now with photos of this year's BC Cup skeleton.